Happy to be joined now by Rockets assistant coach Tiago Splitter, back in Texas, where you spent a lot of time. How's it been so far?
It's been great. I think the city is, receiving us with the open arms, and the team is doing well. So I'm glad I'm here.
You coached with Ime Udoka in Brooklyn. You had played with him in San Antonio. You played against him in Spain. So you've known him for a while. When he called you and asked you to join his staff, what made you say yes?
Well, just knowing who he is and how he sees basketball, the tenacity of every day, the passion. That's one of the reasons. Also, I knew he was in like a young team that want to get better and be at the top. So, of course, I say yes.
He told me when he was putting together his coaching staff that he envisioned you working with Alper and Sengun. So when you met Alper and Sengun, what were the first conversations you had with him this summer?
Well, our first conversations were at least first like know each other, like where you're from, what you do, where you play. And once that's established, you have a little connection. Of course, we start to talk about basketball and how you want to be coached, how we're going to approach it every day, what's going to be our routine, video on the court, what he likes to do, how he start practice. So a little bit of everything.
He told me that when he talked to you that he said he wanted to be coached hard. And I remember you telling me that as well. How do you go about coaching a player hard, but also encouraging him and really balancing that?
Well, it's a mix, right? You gotta tell them the truth, we call it, So be honest, what I see, and don't sugarcoat everything. Of course, there's moments where you gotta encourage a player, you gotta, a little tap in the back. But Alpi is a guy that can take a lot of heat. He's used to that, and that's what he said to me, right? Like I remember we were actually in a pool and talking about it, and it's like, no, I want you to tell me the truth. I want me to make me better. I don't want you to just, say good things. And but I think there's a mix. There's games where I know, like I got, hey, let's go, wake up, and there's games where like, you're good, just keep playing. The ball's gonna go in.
This is a crucial year for him, year 3 in the league. What does he need to do? What's the next step he needs to take to get to the next level of his career?
I think try to show every night what he got. So there's some nights that he's a little off, energy. You're not gonna feel 100% every day, and that's the NBA. As an athlete, you're gonna feel pain. You're gonna feel your shoulder, your knee, your ankle. How can you be effective even when you have those little injuries, little pains? And that's what the greats do. You see Tim Duncan, you see Kevin Garnett, you see Kobe, LeBron, all those guys, they bring it every night. So I'm not saying he's there yet, but like that's what we gotta look for, right?
You played with so many amazing players and against so many amazing players. Are there any that Alperen kind of has the qualities that remind you of certain players?
He's very different than what the NBA is right now, to be honest. He's more like an old school, back to the basket big, right? And I played with guys like Scola, but like great footwork, but he's bigger than him. Tim Duncan playing to the back of the basketball. So you start to see a little bit of this player, a little bit of that, but there is not just one player that I could compare him to.
Are there any Rockets players that have kind of surprised you, maybe that you didn't know a lot about and you've been really surprised by what you've seen from them effort-wise or on the court?
Well, there's a lot of guys that surprise me. Fred is one of them. Fred is, you play against him and you don't know him, but when you see him on the everyday, how he takes care of his body, how he prepares, how he leads the team in practice, during games, he really surprised me, and I'm glad he's a Rocket.
All right, last question. We're halfway through the season as we are recording this. Where do you hope to see the Rockets at the end of the year?
Playing the playoffs, fighting. I think that's something that, the Rockets are missing the last years, and getting that fight to the city again, bring that, bring the crowd here. They have a hope, and then just keep growing after that.
All right, I want to talk a little bit about you, your experience in the EuroLeague, the Spanish basketball, like all of that international experience. How did that prepare you to play in the NBA?
Well, the game is a little different. Sometimes we even say it's a different sport, right? But in the end of the day, I know how to get in spaces. The space is very important in the international game, and the physicality of it is different. Here, there's more freedom of movement. Over there, you can hit a little bit, hug, wrap a little bit more. So I got to get used to the freedom of movement, also the speed and the athleticism. Here is way different. So that's something that you got to adapt. But I think knowing the game, knowing all the details in Europe helped me to play better in the NBA.
You're the first Brazilian-born basketball player to win an NBA championship. How special is that when you reflect on that accomplishment?
Well, it's very special, especially, Brazil is not like basketball might be the third, fourth sport. So it's a country dominated by soccer. So you come from a country like that we trying to grow every year. Our basketball league, our national team, we're trying to grow, but we never had anything doing, like not even starting in the NBA, right? So I was lucky to be in an organization where we were fighting to win, to be the last team standing. And I finally did in 2014. I'm super proud of it.
In 2014, you win that NBA championship with the Spurs. Ime Udoka, of course, a coach on that staff. So it sounds kind of cliche, but you're trying to do that in Houston. What does it take for a team to win a championship?
We got to be solid. We got to be, really know the game, all the details. Everybody got to bring it every night. Of course, you need talent. Nobody's going to win without talent. But for example, that team, the Spurs, was not the most talented team. We were just playing the right way, and everybody knew their roles. Nobody had any ego thinking, oh, I want to score 30, I want to do this, and that. No, it was all about winning. And when you have a group of guys that are on the same page and hey, all we want to do here is win, then you have more chances.
How special is the coaching staff you guys have? Because it seems like there's so much chemistry and connection, and that you all have bought in and you're on the same page. And that's not the case with every coaching staff in the NBA.
Yeah, I think we all young and hungry, to be honest. Sometimes you have older coaches with more experience, and they have some beliefs, and that's what they fight for. I think we are kind of young, learning, open to new things, and we're gonna make mistakes, but we'll try to get better in practice, in games, and I think that's what Ime brought with him, right? Guys that are hungry, that are willing to make mistakes, but also get better and make the team get better.
Who inspired you to be a coach?
Well, I never thought I would be a coach, to be honest, and because of my injuries, I had to retire early. There's no one guy that inspired me, but I was in a camp, in an NBA camp in Bahamas, and I saw myself coaching, and I felt that adrenaline that we had as a player. I'm like, oh, this is what I want to do. I love this. I want to be in the court. I want to be the player.
Do you think part of that was being under Greg Popovich? Arguably one of the greatest coaches ever.
Well, it helped when you've seen the best of the best doing their job. I know how he approached the games. I know how he approached practices. And definitely helped me. Okay, if I know how one of the best or the best coach ever does their things, I might have a shot.
Yeah. I do have a fan question that a Rockets fan wanted me to ask you. Who was harder to guard, Luis Scola or Nene?
Oof, they're very different. Luis Scola is all about technique, and Nene is a stronger guy, very physical. I don't know. I gotta say, Luis Scola was one of the best scorers ever. I also guard him every day in practice. I played with him for 5 years, and I hate it. Now, don't get me wrong. Nene is a beast and hard to stop too. But I accept those challenges, and I like to guard the best players.